Well, Ken, tell us on camera, how does it feel to be free again?
Yeah, it's fantastic that you're back out and back in doing what you love doing, but really pleased that health-wise and people that have been close to me that have had it, it wasn't too bad. I see a lot of people unfortunately end up in hospital, so that would be a bit of a concern, but I was one of the lucky ones.
Was it challenging to coach? Or?
Yep. It was challenging to do my job properly, and I'm lucky that I've got great people around that help and support and make sure the club organises itself and runs really well, but it was challenging for me personally.
How did you deal with match selection when you're remote? Because you don't know what's happened by your own eyes at training. How did you deal with that one?
In lots of ways, I didn't miss too much because I had live training at home. I could watch it whilst it was unfolding. A lot of conversations. There wasn't too much different other than the face-to-face contact as far as coaching-wise goes, and still think that's one of my great strengths is face-to-face contact, whether that be with your staff or with your players, is really important. But most of the other stuff was pretty simple.
There was a lot of anticipation, Fantasia, T-ball, and then you didn't pick any of them. What was in one by one that didn't tick the boxes for you?
Oh no, just preparation. You've got to give them the best chance to succeed, and we're in a position that we want them to play as soon as they're available to play, but we also need them to be able to perform at a level that they need to and want to perform at. They want to add to the team, and you've got to be very cautious and careful around what that decision making looks like. Both boys excite us, but we just got to be a bit mindful that give them a chance.
Was there a kind of situation where you said, given everything that's on the line, and you thought, maybe we could play Fantasia, given his importance to the forward line?
Yeah, we always, whatever game is, you're always looking to make your team as good and as strong as they can possibly be. We're playing the team on top of the ladder who are in remarkable form. It's going to be a real challenge for us. So you want your best available options, but they've also got to be the names on the paper sometimes look better than the performance that they can put on the grass, and you've got to give them a chance to perform, and that's what both boys would want to do first and foremost.
Going back to coaching, remotely, was it hard on Sunday only having, the one kind of way you could view the game and how it was unfolding?
It was more frustrating for Chris, I reckon, because I had to talk to him all the time when the game was going on, but I had good vision of what was going on. It's still not. This will sound a bit silly, but you just don't feel what's going on. And as a coach, it's one of your really important parts as a coach to have a feel for what's going on, and that's where you can influence games a bit more. So it wasn't perfect, but we've all dealt with it this year.
It's more than a year for McEntee. What did you see in him that puts him back in the side?
Jed's been really reasonable for us at Sanford, really good and strong for us in a forward pressure position, which is what we haven't had Lockie for the last couple of weeks. We've had Meady trying to play in somewhat that role, which has been a little bit of a challenge for him. He's a young player, got lots of improvement still to go. So Jed, we think, earned his right. He was subbed a couple of weeks ago. He played strong footy again in the Magpies last week. He just deserves his opportunity, and he's a good story.
Kenny, how much do you draw on previous results at Adelaide and big prelim finals against the Cats? Is it irrelevant or?
No qualifying, don't mention prelims.
Yeah, no, look, you take some confidence that and 9 weeks ago we played Geelong and we were in front at half time. This is, as I said before, this is a team that are clearly the best team in the competition currently as we speak. So, but we do take some confidence that our best football can certainly challenge them, but we know anything short of that, you'll be in some trouble too. So, we've got reasonable form against them here, but they've also won here as well. So we know the size of the challenge. We look forward to it, but we know the size of the challenge.
Chris Scott said you are unique as a challenge to him. What do you think he meant by that, and what have you got?
You as in Port Adelaide?
He said coaching against Ken and Port Adelaide is a unique challenge.
Yeah, it's a bigger challenge coaching against Chris and Geelong then. So I don't know. You'd have to ask Chris. I mean, for us, look, our performances would suggest that you've got to play really good footy right to the end to beat us. I hope that's what it means, but the reality is we need to worry about what we need to do and what we have to do tomorrow, not so much what Chris is thinking or not thinking. I hope it's a bigger challenge than we've done in the past.
Given Bonner's recovering from injury, did you feel a bit more comfortable having Burgoyne in that backline?
No, not really. I think Jace had played really well in his 2 games. Riley came back from injury and had been in pretty good form, but the performance last week wasn't not at the level that Riley would expect of himself. So he loses his spot in from a performance point of view, and Jace deserves a spot back.
How much did you look at in the review at the space that Cozzy Pickett was able to get for some of his goals?
A lot. A lot. Obviously, clearly he was the best player on the ground, and he was the main reason that Melbourne won the game, I'd imagine, by the goals that he kicked. And there were some pretty special goals in what he kicked, but we gave him opportunities he shouldn't have got.
What did the review kind of identify? Was it communication breakdown? Maybe something, player not following him. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of everything. I mean, too hard to sit here and explain to you exactly what that is, but there's a little bit of team defence getting in the way of taking care of the role that needed to be done. We gave him too many opportunities. Collectively, not individually, collectively we gave him too many opportunities and he was good enough to take them.
Do you put Stengel in the same bracket in terms of...
I think everyone would. I think he's been a really good player for Geelong, and I think there's language around all Australian teams and stuff like that. You don't get that if you're not a damaging forward. He's kicked 30 odd goals. Yep, we put him in the bracket of must be watched, along with Hawkins, along with Cameron, along with Rowan. There's a few in there too.
Solid forward line. Is it a holistic approach in terms of stopping, or is it a one-person job?
Stopping Stengel?
Yeah.
Oh no, it'll be what we'd normally do, and that is that the team takes care of the roles that we have to collectively. At times that will mean an individual will be matched up against individuals, but that's always the case. But you do break down, and you break down badly when you get too singularly focused. Some people would acknowledge that last week we probably should have been more singularly focused because we didn't get a bloke under control. We should have.
And when you played Melbourne and Fremantle, you get massively behind and they free up and they score quickly. Can the same happen in the bigger picture now that it's really tight on the premiership table that they just go for it? Does it free them up in that sort of thing? They feel the pressure on them?
I think what happens there is that game last week, if you look at both those games, there was minutes in the game that the team that we played against put good scoreboard pressure on us and put a gap on us, but we didn't give it away. We kept in it. It wasn't like we were totally blown apart at any point in the game. We just didn't make the most of our opportunities that we had. Even the game we played against Geelong 9 weeks ago, in the third quarter when Jeremy Cameron kicks a goal from 60 metres out with a torpedo on the siren, the ridiculous results that he managed to put on the board, but we had two easier opportunities that we didn't complete, and that's always the challenge. You open up gaps and you close gaps based on your completion rate, and our completion rate at times has let us down.
But when you're right on the edge now, they
been there for a while.
But are they feeling more tense at the moment, or are they freeing up?
No, I think they're fine. I think they're preparing for a game like they do every week, and they know that the reality of the game, there'll be momentum swings within that game, and you've just got to hang in there, and that's what we do every week. So regardless of where the season does and doesn't sit, for us it's around playing the style of game that we have to play every week. We will get stretched, we will get challenged at times in tomorrow night's game. Hopefully we'll be doing the same back to Geelong at certain times, and by the end of the game we just need to be in front.
So is it a kind of do or die match, given everything, given how many games there are left in the season?
I've said this before, I treat every game as do or die. Don't worry me. Winning in AFL football is really important week in, week out, and this week is no bigger or no smaller importance to me and the team about what we need to do, but it is about tomorrow night. Whatever happens, we need to give ourselves the best chance to perform.
And is there anything different to the boys though this week, considering it's a bit of a crunch moment in the season?
No different to what we've done all the way through this year. We narrow our focus and we keep it very much narrow, and we keep it on the moment, and the moment is we need to really start well against Geelong tomorrow night, give ourselves a chance to win that game and then see what happens after that.
How do you get the best out of Mitch Georgiades this weekend?
Give him opportunities, and we've given him plenty of opportunities, but we give him opportunities and we back him in. We give him confidence that we believe in what he can do. He gets opportunities and gets plenty of shots at goal. Mitch is just working really hard to get his conversion at a level that he'd like, and if it was, the conversations that are going on at the moment would be taking care of themselves. But he's in a position of, as a forward, he needs to convert his opportunities, but we support him in that and we give him every chance.
He's a young player. Is he still sort of in that confidence player bracket where he needs a couple of goals or a big tackle or something to make him feel like he's having a good game and being involved?
Every young player, yep. I think that's a reasonable description of what young players need. They need your backing and they need your support, and Mitch always will get that as much as we possibly can from our point of view, and trust that we believe in him that he'll be able to complete at a really high level tomorrow night.
Is Geelong one of the, better teams maybe to go up against if you don't have a specialised ruckman in the side? Given you've got against Gawn, Darcy, Wicks in the last month, I think.
No, not really. I mean, Geelong are a bloody good team, and they've got good players all over the ground in the ruck, in the forward line, in the back line. They're going to be really hard work for us. So there's no part of the game, whether it be ruck or tall backs or tall forwards, that we worry more or less about. We just know that the Geelong challenge is significant.
Can you replicate one game you played this year
Yeah, it was certainly a highlight game for us as far as the way we played against a real high quality opponent who are in really good form already themselves. But yeah, that's close to what we'd like to think our best football looks like more consistently. But the challenge in any football club is to do that week in, week out, and that's why the good sides end up at the top.
Bass said earlier in the week he thought Charlie Dixon might be the best ruckman at Port Adelaide at the moment. How does that sit with you?
I think it's probably close to right. I think Charlie has been really good for us, needed in the ruck, but you know what that's doing to us, don't you? It's stopping our ability in the front half to also put some scoreboard pressure on. So between Charlie and Jeremy again, we will operate and manipulate the system the best we can to give them the best chance to perform where we need them. Whether it's in the ruck or whether that's forward for Charlie or Jeremy, we'll just work with that and see what happens tomorrow.
Is that even?
How much you and even Bass earlier in the week have said that Dixon is so important as a forward, even if he is maybe the best ruckman in the team. Do you think that it could be a sort of 1 week bring, double check how you're all going in the SANFL, and then next week it'd be probably more likely than unlikely?
Yeah, I think if we can get our ruckman underneath in really good form, that will give us a chance to do some other different things which we would probably more often than not prefer to do.
Is Dixon the best ruck at, I guess, the club, even with Scott Lycett fit?
No. Sorry, no, it's not available to us currently. Yeah. Charlie's one of our best options in the ruck currently, but we also got some other options.